Chapter 5: Personal Planning and Requiring. After studying this chapter, you should be able to 1. Explain the main techniques used in employment planning the forecasting. 2. Discuss the main outside sources of candidates. 3. Effectively required job candidates. 4. Name and describe the main internal sources of candidates. 5. Develop a help wanted ad. 6. Explain how to require a more diverse workforce. The requirement and selection process. 1. Decide what position you will have to fill through personal planning and forecasting. 2. Build a pool of candidates for these jobs by requiring internal or external candidates. 3. Have candidates complete application forms and perhaps undergo an initial screening interview. 4. Use selection techniques like tests, background investigations, and physical exams to identify viable candidates. 5. Decide who to make an offer to by having the supervisor and perhaps others of the team interview the candidates. Planning and forecasting. Employment or personal planning. The process of deciding what positions the firm will have to fill and who to fill them. Succession planning. The process of deciding who to fill the company is most important executive jobs to forecast. Overall personal needs. The supply of inside candidates. The supply of outside candidates. Forecasting personal needs. Trend analysis. The study of a firm is past employment needs over a period of years and predict future needs. Ratio analysis. A forecasting technique for determining future staff need by using ratios between a causal factor and the number of employees needed. Assumes that the relationship between the causal factor and staffing needs in a constant. Scatter plot. Scatter plot, a graphical method used to help identify the relationship between two variables. Drawbacks to scatter plots. 1. They focus on projection and horizontal relationships and assume that the firm's existing structures and activities will continue into the future. 2. They generally do not consider the impact the company's strategic initiatives may have on future staffing levels. 3. They tend on support compensation plans that reward managers of managing ever larger staff and will not uncover managers who expand their staff irrespective of strategic needs. 4. They tend to back in the non-productive area that increases in staff are variable. 5. They tend validate and institutions existing planning process and ways of doing things, even in the face of rapid change. Using computers to forecast personal requirements. Computerized forecasts. They use software packages to determine a future staff need by projecting sales volume of production and personnel required to maintain a volume of output. Generates figures on average staff levels required to meet product demands, as well as forecasts for direct, labor, indirect staff and example staff. Typical matrix. Direct labor hours required to product 1 unit of product, a measure of productivity, and 3 sales projections, minimum, maximum, and probable. Forecasting the supply of inside candidates. Qualifications in inventors. Manual or computerized record listening. Employees. Educations, careers and development interests. Language, special skills and so on to be used in selecting inside candidates for promotions. Manual systems and replacement charts. Personal replacement charts. Company records showing present performance and promotability of inside candidates for the most important positions. Position replacement card. A card prepared for each position in a company to show possible replacement candidates and their qualifications. Computerized information systems. Human resource information systems. Computerized inventory of information that can be accessed to determine employees' backgrounds, experience, and skills that may include works experience codes, product or service knowledge, industry experience, formal education. Matter of privacy of HR information. The need to ensure the security of HR information. There is a lot of HR information to keep secure. Control of HR information can be established through the use of access metrics that limit users. Legal considerations. The Federal Privacy Act of 1974 gives employees rights regarding who has access to information about their work history and job performance. Forecasting the supply of outside candidates. Factors impacting the supply of outside candidates. General economics conditions, expected unemployment rate, sources of information, periodic forecasts in business publications, online economic projections, U.S. Congressional Budget Office, CBO. Role of Labor Statistics, U.S. Department of Labor's ONNET, other federal agencies. Effective requiring. External factors affecting requiring. Looming undersupply of workers. Lessening of the trend in outsourcing of jobs. Increasingly fewer qualified candidates. Internal factors affecting recruiting. The consistency of the firm is requirement efforts with its strategic goals. The variable resources types of jobs to be required and choice of recruiting methods. Non-requirement HR users and policies. Line and staff coordinations and corporations. Advantage of centralization requirements. Strengthen employment brands. Ease in applying strategic principles. Reduces duplications of HR activities. Reduce the cost of new HR technicals. Build terms of HR experts. Provides for better measurement of HR performance. Allows of the sharing of applicant sample acceptable questions once a conditional offer is made. 1. Do you have any responsibilities that conflict with the job vacancy? 2. How long have you lived to your present address? 3. Do you have any relatives working for this company? 4. Do you have any physical defects that would prevent you from performing certain jobs where do you knowledge vacancies exist? 5. Do you have adequate means to transportations to get to work? 6. Have you had any major illness, treated or untreated in the past 10 years? 7. Have you ever been convicted of a felony, or do you have a history of being a violent person? This is very important question to avoid a negligent hearing or retention charge. 8. Education background. The information required here would depend on the job-related requirements on the position. Measuring recruiting effectiveness. What to measure and who to measure. How many qualified applicants were attracted from each requirement source. Assessing both the quantity and the quality of the applicant's product by a source. High performance recruiting. Applying best practices management techniques to recruiting. Using a branch market oriented approach to analyzing and measuring the effectiveness of recruiting efforts such as employee refers, internal sources of candidates hiring from within. Advantage for knowledge of candidates' strengths and weakness. More accurate view of candidates' skills. Candidates have a stronger commitment to the company, increases employee morale, less training and orientation required. Disadvantage: failed applicants become discontent, time wasted interviewing inside candidates who will not be considered in training of the status quo. Finding internal candidates. Job position. Publishing an open job to employees often by literally positing it on bulletin boards and listing its attributes. Rehiring former employees. Advantage: they are known quantities. They know the firm and its culture. Disadvantage: they may have less than positive attitudes. Rehiring may send the wrong message to current employees about who to get ahead. Finding internal candidates. Succession planning. The process of ensuring a suitable supply of successors for current and future senior of key job. Succession planning steps: identifying and analyzing key jobs, creating and assessing candidates, selecting those who will fill the key position, outside sources of candidates, advertising. The media selection of the best medium depends on the positions for which the firms are required. Newspapers, local and specific labor markets, trade and professional journals, internet job sites, marketing programs. Constructing an effective ad. Working related to job interest factors should evoke the applicant's attention, interest, desire, and action (AIDA) and create a positive impression of the firm. Types of employment agencies. Public agencies operate by federal, state, or local governments. Agencies associate with non-profit organizations. Privately owned agencies. Reasons for using a private employment agency: when a firm doesn't have a HR department and it is not great to doing requirements and screening. The firm has found it difficult in the past to generate a pool of qualified applicants. The firm must fill a particular opening quickly. There is a perceived need to attract a greater number of mandatory or female applicants. The firm wants to reach currently employed individuals who may feel more comfortable dealing with agencies than with competing companies. The firm wants to cut down on the time it's devoting to require. Avoiding problems with employment agencies. Give the agency an accurate and complete job descriptions. Make sure tests, applications, blanks, and interviews are part of the agency's selections process. Periodically review data or candidates accepted or rejection rejected by your firm and by the agency. Check on the effectiveness and fairness of an agency's screening process. Screen the agency, check with others managers or HR people to find out which agencies have been the most effective at filling the sorts of positions needed to be filled. Review the internet and a view back issues of the Sunday classified ad to discover the agencies that handle the positions to be filled. Temp agencies and alternative staffing. Benefits of temps: paid only when working, more productive, no requirement screening and payroll administration costs. Costs of temps: fees paid to temp agencies, lack of commitment to firm, concerns of temp employees, treatment by employees in a dehumanizing, impersonal, and ultimating, discouraging way. Insecurity about their employment and pessimistic about the future. Worry about their lack of insurance and the pensions benefits. Being misled about their job assignments and in particular about whether temporary assignments were likely to become full-time positions. Being underemployed, practically those trying to return to the full-time labor market. In general, they were angry towards the corporate world and its values. Participants repeatedly expressed feeling of alienations and disenchantment. Guidelines for using temporary employees. 1. Do not train your contingent workers. 2. Do not negotiate the pay rate of your contingent workers. 3. Do not coach or counsel to contingent workers on his/her job performance. 4. Do not negotiate workers' vacations or personal time off. 5. Do not routinely include contingent workers in your company's employee functions. Do not allow contingent workers to utilize vacancies intended for employees. 7. Do not let managers issue company business cards, name plates, or employee budget to contingent workers without HR and legal approval. 8. Do not let managers discuss harassment or discrimination issues with contingent workers. 9. Do not discuss job operators and the contingent workers stably for them directly. 10. Do not determine a contingent workers directly. Working with a temp agency. Invoicing: get a sample copy of the agency invoice. Make sure it fits your company's needs. Timesheet. With temps, the timesheet is not just a verification of hours work. Once the worker's supervisor signs it, it's usually an agreement to pay the agency its fee. Temp to perm policy. What is the policy if the client wants to hire one of the agency temps as a permanent employee. Requirements of and benefits for temp employees. Find out how the agency plans to require what sorts of benefits it pays. Dress code. Specify the attire at each of your offices or plants. Equal employment opportunity statement. Get a statement from the agency that it is not discriminating when filling stamped orders. Job descriptions information have procedures whereby you can ensure the agency understands the job to be filled and the sort of person you want to fill it. Starting outsourcing white collar and other jobs. Specific issues in outsourcing jobs abroad. Political and military stability, likelihood and culture misunderstandings, customer security and privacy concerns, foreign contract liability and legal concerns, special training of foreign employees, costs associated with companies supplying foreign work, executive recruiters, headhunters, special employment agencies retained by employers to seek out to management talents for their clients, collect a fee for their services when a successful hire is completed. Retained executive searches are paid regulators of the outcome of the requirements process. Internet technology and specializing trends are changing how candidates are attracted and how searches are conducted. Guidelines for choosing a recruiter. Make sure the firm is capable of conducting a thorough search. Meet the individual who will actually handle your assignment. Ask how much the search firm charges. Outside sources of candidates on-demand recruiting service ODRC, a service that provides short-term specialist recruiting to support specific projects without the expense of retaining traditional search firms. College recruiting goals to determine in the candidates in worthy of further consideration to attract good candidates. On-site visits, invitation letters, assign hosts, information package, planned interviews, timely employment offer, follow-up internships, employee referrals. Applicants who are referred to the organization by current employees. Referring employers become stakeholders. Referral is a cost-effective requirements program. Referral can speed up diversifying the workforce. Walk-ins, direct applicants who seek employment with or without encouragement from other sources. Courteous treatment of any applicant in a good business practice. Wiretapping via the internet. More firms and applicants are utilizing the internet in the job search. Advantage of internet recruiting: cost-effective way to publish job opening, more applicants attracted over a longer period, immediate applicant responses, online pre-screening of applicants, link to other job search sites, automation of applicants tracking and evaluation. Eases in requiring a more diverse workforce. Single parents, providing work schedule flexibility. Older workers, revising policies that make it difficult or unattractive for older workers to remain employed. Waiting minors and women, understanding recruitment pairs, formulating requirements plans, studying specific day-to-day programs. Welfare to work, developing pre-training programs to overcome difficulties in hiring and assimilating persons previously of welfare, the disabled, developing resources and policies to require and integrate disabled persons into the workforce, developing and using forms. Application forms, the forms that provide information on education, prayer, work records and skills. Uses of information from applications, judgment about the applicant's educational and experience qualifications, conclusions about the applicant's previous process and growth, indications of the applicant's employment stability, predictions about which candidate is likely to succeed on the job.